Hey, what is up? This is Coach Sarit coming in with another solo episode, and today we are going to be talking about the 3 ways in which you can start being more intentional today. Okay? And, one of the things that we always say is intention, not perfection. Okay, we find that a lot of people, especially, if you're still relatively new to our community, or maybe if you are joining us for the very first time, welcome, by the way. If this happens to be the first video that you're watching, go ahead and drop a 1 in the comments. Would absolutely love to see you. Now, life is not about being perfect. Life is about doing everything that you do on purpose. And that's why if you've done any of our programs, like let's say in the nutrition department, we're not going to tell you, don't eat this. We're here to give you guidelines that will help you to enhance your life. Because let's say if we were to tell you don't eat a burger, but let's say it is your 1-year anniversary and you dropped like 50 pounds and you're like, man, dude, like burger is my thing, and I told myself that, when I hit that benchmark, that's how I want to celebrate. Shame on us to tell you to not do it. Okay, so it is all about being intentional. And one of the things that we also say very often, and you might be familiar with this term, is progress not perfection. And I think that progress not perfection allows you to understand intentionality better. However, it is definitely something that's important to make sure that you are constantly aware of what does that mean. Because it is very easy to say, oh, I'm just, let's say you've been, on this journey for a couple of months, and then let's say life started to get a little difficult, and let's say, like ice cream is your thing, and now every single night out of nowhere, you're now starting to eat like ice cream. Because progress, not perfection. No, that's not what progress, not perfection is all about. Progress, not perfection is, let's say you start with us by like eating junk food every single day. And within a matter of, like 1 month, you're now eating junk food 3 days a week. That's progress, not perfection. We did not take you from ground zero all the way to, floor 100 in 1 day, because you don't have the bandwidth, the threshold, or the stamina to keep up with it. And instead, what we're doing is we are making you go from ground zero, first floor, second floor, third floor. That's what progress, not perfection is all about. So, something that we do see from time to time, and that's why I'm really doing this video, because, like I've heard from the coaching team that, some people have been struggling with, being intentional. So the whole purpose is to give you more clarity on, like what things should you do in order to, pursue this journey with more intention. And, if you do these things, watch out for it, because it probably means that you're not leading with progress, not perfection, and being intentional, and you're rather just lowering your standards. So, the true definition, I actually don't happen to have the true definition of intention with me. Let me just grab this iPad real quick so that we can actually, find the real definition of what intention means. So give me 1 second while we look up intention. Intention according to the dictionary, is a thing that is intended, an aim or a plan. I love the fact that they said an aim or a plan. Okay, this is according to the Google dictionary. Google knows everything. So, you know, when you live an intentional life, you're living your life on purpose. And when you're living your life on purpose, it is because you've set some kind of standard and you're not willing to flex on it. And if you're living an unintentional life, you are probably flexing on some habits. Okay? Like, you can't be flexing on your habits and say, I'm living an intentional life. No. You know, so there is a real fine line here, and that's why it's important to recognize it, and that's why I'm like gonna be sharing with you do's and don'ts, so you understand, oh, okay, like which side of the equation am I on, so you can understand based on what side of the equation are you on. Let's say if you're really leading with intentionality, okay, thumbs up, great job, let's keep it this way. Or in the case that you're, let's say, living on the other side of the equation, when you're saying, oh, I'm just being intentional, progress, not perfection. Meanwhile, you're actually just finding a way to make an excuse and lower your standards, then now we're catching it. Because, you guys, our condition is a byproduct of our standards. Think about it. Okay, your body's shape is a byproduct of your nutritional standards. Your body's shape is a byproduct of your movement habits. Okay? Your, mental disposition is a byproduct of, the environment that you're willing to tolerate. The condition of your house is a byproduct of the standard of cleanliness that you keep around. Okay? The condition of anything is a byproduct of the standards that you've set for it. So you set low standards, guess what? You're going to get a poor condition. And that's why, most people struggle with their weight, struggle with, happiness, because they're not leading with intentionality. They have not set a standard. And if they did, they didn't have that person that called them out on their bullshit with kindness, that when they feel like, maybe they had a hard day and now they want to, flex on their standards because it's comforting. Like, no, that's not going to make you comfortable. Because comfort, I don't know about you, but like in my opinion, comfort is a byproduct of preparation. I'm comfortable when I know that I'm taken care of. Until then, I'm not comfortable. Because at any given point in time, shit can happen that's outside of my control. And if I cannot take care of myself, then I'm not comfortable. So which comfort do you choose? Like the temporary comfort of, like Netflix and chill, YOLO. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, let's say, like you want to watch a movie every once in a while that you can't. I'm just saying, like, if you're like, I ain't got time to work out, meanwhile, every day after work, you're like Netflix and chill, Uber eating, like eating candy, then, you either haven't set standards or you're being really soft in terms of upkeeping your standards. So, rule number 1, when it comes to intentionality, is you got to set the standard. And how do you set the standard? you ask yourself, what am I willing to tolerate and what am I not willing to tolerate? So like, I want to share with you some things of what I am not willing to tolerate. I have a very clear boundary, therefore that is my standard. And like, if I ever come across that, I'm easily able to discern, is it within my standards? Is it not? Therefore, like, should I tolerate it? Should I not? And it's easy to make decisions that way. Okay, that's why when it comes to setting goals, you want to be specific so that you're clear on what we call your non-negotiables. So like, for example, things that I'm not willing to flex on. Okay, like having candy in the house. You will not see that unless we need that to, record some kind of video to make it funny, right? You will not see candy entering our house, right? Other non-negotiables, gotta do some kind of movement in the morning, even if it's just like yoga or like a walk. Movement has to happen. Okay. Another non-negotiable is I gotta have coffee in the morning. I don't care where I'm at in the world. Like, I don't care what time it is. Gotta have coffee in the morning. Okay. Other non-negotiables, got to do my morning routine every single day to set my mind and my body for success. Okay. Other non-negotiables, got to take my supplements every single day. Other non-negotiables, eat clean food at all times. Okay. Other non-negotiables, stay loyal to myself and my loved ones. Other non-negotiables, do not be associated with any tasks that will ever make you feel guilty, be it with food, with other people, with whatever. Okay? Things like that. What are your non-negotiables? You should write that down. When you're not clear on your non-negotiables, it is very easy to flex on it. And when you flex on it, you start lowering your standards. One second. So, just some examples of certain characteristics of do's and don'ts in terms of leading an intentional life. Okay? If your intention is to live your life on purpose, do not make any exceptions. Do not. So like, we're going to use examples from my non-negotiables. Okay, let's say if my non-negotiable, okay, is do my gratitude every single morning. Let's say if Erin and I are traveling, and I use this example because it happens every time we travel. Like, for some reason flights, at least the ones that we take, leave really early. Like they leave at 6 a.m., which means that we got to be at the airport at, like 4 a.m. So, like I will get my gratitude in the morning. However, let's say we wake up at 3 a.m. to leave to the airport at 4 a.m., I might not do it until we get to the airport or until I get on the plane and I have a minute. However, every single morning, no matter what, you look at my journal, you will see gratitude. So non-negotiable, gotta make it happen. It doesn't matter, like traveling, not traveling, what season of the year, like, make your non-negotiable a non-negotiable. It's very simple. So people who lead their life on purpose with intentionality do not make any exceptions. So once you get clear on your non-negotiables, like, ask yourself this, like, am I willing to not make any exceptions? And if not, then don't say you're leading with intentionality. You might be, like, aware, which is step one, more power to you. But, like, if you're flexing, then you're not leading with intentionality. You're leading with comfort. Ooh. Okay. When you're being intentional, you're going to always plan in advance, and you will not make spur-in-the-moment decisions. Okay. Now, I want to give you a little bit of context because, I do believe in being spontaneous. Normally, if you're more disciplined, you might be less spontaneous. Because let's say if you've got these 5 things that you need to get done today, and then let's say, like, your sister calls and she's like, oh my gosh, like, I just, passed my bar exam and I want to go celebrate. Come with me to the bar. If you're disciplined, you're going to get it done, and you're going to say, look, I might come with you to the bar if it's not a part of your non-negotiables. However, I need to get these things done first. Versus, okay, let me drop everything. This can wait for tomorrow. Okay. So context with regards for things like that. So when you lead with intentionality, you plan in advance, and you don't just make spur of the moment decisions like, oh my gosh, my sister just called, I got this and that to do, let me leave work early real quick and go hang out at the bar on a Tuesday afternoon. No, that's not leading with intentionality. That's leading with carelessness. Okay. So, and that's why I'm saying being intentional, don't be perfect. Let's say you do want to go for brunch and have mimosas on a Sunday. Fine, have fun. It is fun, right? Now, plan in advance. Let's say, like Sunday, October 20th is, like a time where like I have that Sunday open. I will plan on finishing everything that I need to do for the week so that, when that day comes, I can wake up and I can have mimosas. Awesome. And when you do, like, be in the moment if that's what you want. However, plan for it. Don't just like Tuesday afternoon, my sister calls, oh yeah, let's have mimosas. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I'm not telling you, like if you love to drink mimosas or like, like have ice cream every once in a while or, like eat a burger. I'm not telling you don't do that. But let's say if you just heard that, like it's going to be somebody's birthday at work tomorrow and they're going to be ordering, like let's say a cookie cake from your favorite bakery and you haven't planned to do it, but you're like, oh, I'm going to do it anyway because YOLO. No. Like those little spur in the moment decisions add up. And again, it's standards, right? And let's say if you do that 10 times a year, over a span of 20 years, what is that going to do? So it's the concept. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to plan in advance when you are leading a life with intentionality. See what I'm saying? When you're being intentional, when you're leading with intentionality, you follow through regardless. You follow through regardless. So let's say, let's say as part of my non-negotiables, like always eat clean. You will see me following through with eating clean, even if, like we're traveling through the Midwest. Even if we're stuck in the middle of Timbuktu. Because I'm not going to flex on anything below what's not clean. Okay, so it doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter what time zone I'm in. It doesn't matter where I'm at. Like, if that is the standard, follow through either way. Or make an excuse. But you can't have complete follow through and make an excuse at the same time. Oh, like in the Midwest, there are fast food places everywhere. Yeah, it's true. There are. But that doesn't mean that, like you can't find a salad. That doesn't mean that you can't find grilled chicken. With commitment comes creativity. And, when you're really leading with intentionality, you keep the line tight. And if you flex on it, then you're making excuses. And it doesn't make you a bad person. You're just not fully leading with intentionality because, according to the definition, intention is a thing intended, an aim, or a plan. So if you're flexing on your aim, you're not being intentional. If you're not following through on your plan, you are not being intentional. Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you can't have mimosas. It just means, how do you plan having mimosas? Small detail, big difference over a long period of time. Okay. So as we're wrapping this up, it's important that you get real with yourself. And ask yourself whether you're willing to follow through on your plan. And if you were to make any exceptions, what would that look like? Because look, you could make exceptions. Just have a plan for if you do make exceptions. Let's say I eat clean all the time with the exception of, let's say, when my mom comes to town, I know that she likes to have, let's say, fried rice. Okay, I'm just making things up. So, with the exception of when my mom is in town, when we eat fried rice, I will always eat clean. So you got to get real with yourself about it. You got to know what are your non-negotiables. And if you do have negotiables, then what exceptions do you have for that rule? And once you get real with yourself about that, then it's just a matter of accountability. Being real with yourself, and not giving yourself any slack. And look, there's a difference between failure and lacking accountability. Because let's say you're like, yeah, for example, we have this saying in our community that says never miss a Monday, right? So let's say you work out every single Monday. And let's say, you had some kind of emergency and you were, there was just no way, even if you were to get super creative, there was no way that you could fit in a workout that day. Not even if you were to break it down into 15-minute segments. Have grace with yourself and move on. However, like, note that, you know, like, situations like that are not going to happen all the time. And if anything, you just use that as a way to learn how to get more creative the next time. Okay, so being intentional does not equal being perfect. Being intentional means you're disciplined with setting a plan, means that, you know, you're intentional about following through with the plan and holding yourself accountable or being held to account with regards to the plan. And just keeping it real with yourself. And that's why it's hard to have high standards. Because you can't have a high standard of I eat clean and then, you know, like, there's a difference between I eat clean versus I eat clean Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Big difference. Like, we're talking like here and here. So the higher you want to achieve, the higher your standards need to be. You know, follow through needs to happen anyways. It's just a matter of, you know, like, what are the terms of your standards? I would rather, you know, like, set a standard. Like I said, you know, let's use the analogy of the, you know, like, fast food. Let's say if, you know, I was to coach someone who currently eats fast food every single day, I would rather set the standard of, okay, instead of eating fast food 3 times a day, we now eat fast food 1 time a day. And let's say for breakfast and dinner, we will have something better than instead, versus saying, you know, going from, okay, I'm going from, you know, just eating fast food all day, every single day, to eating no fast food when you haven't consistently raised your standards. There is a great likelihood that you're going to crash and fall. And the harder you fall, the longer it's going to take you to recover. You know, so if anything, I'll want to raise your standard just a little bit. And if you fall, like, the fall is not as hard, so we can get back to it sooner rather than later. Okay, so remember that this is an evolution. And I share this with you because it's important that you have grace with yourself. Like, you know, the non-negotiables that you currently heard me share with you are non-negotiables that I've created over a decade. My non-negotiables today are not even the same non-negotiables that I had a year ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. The point is, do not flex on your non-negotiables. Do you see what I mean? It's not about having the fanciest or the, you know, biggest laundry list of non-negotiables. No, that's the writing it down is the easy part. The follow through is the harder part. So, you know, I would actually love to know from you in the comments, like, you know, after watching this video, if you could share 1 to 3 non-negotiables that you're committing to following through for the next 30 days. What is that? Set a plan, follow through. And we're going to take it one day at a time, one step at a time. And, you know, if you've enjoyed this video, if this added value to you, if this is your first time listening and you're not yet subscribed to us, please make it a point to do so that you can be notified the next time that we drop a video, because we drop lots of them. And also, if you check out the description, there's probably a bunch of opportunities that you have where you can either find cool resources or tools to help you elevate your standards and, you know, follow through with more intention, whatever it may be. I want you to know that you're unstoppable and you are capable of accomplishing everything. You just have to keep it very real with yourself. You have to set a plan and you have to follow through. All right? Here's to your success. Go be great, and I will catch you later. Take care.